She knows he carries risk. She has seen how easily he can detach from people. She has noticed the calm distance in his behavior, the kind that should make her stay away. And yet, her thoughts keep returning to him. Her heartbeat shifts when he walks into the room. Something awakens inside her, sharp, electric, impossible to ignore. This is not confusion. This is not emotional damage. This is ancient instinct working exactly as designed. And once you understand it, you will never see attraction the same way again. Comment power if you are tired of chasing. Let's begin with the uncomfortable truth about attraction. For most of human history, attraction was not about romance, happiness, or emotional comfort. It was about survival. Thousands of years ago, life was harsh. There were battles, predators, hunger, and constant threats. Choosing the wrong partner did not just cause heartbreak, it could mean death. Because of this, the human brain evolved to prioritize survival first, emotions second. Modern society teaches that kindness, emotional safety, and equality are the foundations of attraction. These ideas sound right, and morally, they make sense. But evolution was not built for comfort. It was built for survival. Deep in the subconscious, far below logic and social conditioning, a woman's mind asks a different question. Not, is he gentle? Not, is he kind to everyone? The real question is far older. If danger appears, can this man handle it? This question does not come from logic. It comes from instinct. It runs automatically even when a woman believes she wants something different. This is why attraction often feels confusing. A woman may deeply respect a kind man, trust him, and even admire him, yet feel little desire. At the same time, she may feel drawn to a man who is distant, controlled, or intimidating, even when she knows he carries risk. Attraction is not a reward for good behavior. It is not a moral choice. It is not logical. Attraction is a survival-based assessment system created by evolution. It measures strength, certainty, emotional control, and the ability to face pressure. Long before romance existed, this system decided who was worth choosing and who was not. This truth is uncomfortable, but it explains why desire often ignores what people say they want and follows something far older instead. Now let's talk about the protection paradox. A man's ability to stand firm against pressure is often read as his ability to protect. In dangerous times, survival depended on one simple reality. When trouble arrived, someone had to act. A man who showed no edge, no firmness, and no emotional strength sent a silent signal. He might freeze under pressure. But a man who shows calm control and emotional stability during stress sends a completely different message. Without speaking, he communicates, "If something goes wrong, I will handle it." This does not mean harshness itself is attractive. What matters is where that firmness is directed. A man who is aggressive or careless toward everyone feels unsafe. But a man who is firm with the world and controlled with the woman he chooses creates something powerful. Her mind registers selective safety. She feels protected, not threatened. She feels chosen, not ignored. She feels separate from the chaos he shows to others. This contrast matters more than simple kindness. When a man treats everyone exactly the same, his behavior loses emotional weight. But when he clearly separates how he faces the world and how he treats her, that difference becomes magnetic. Her attraction does not come from fear, it comes from relief. The relief of knowing that the strength that can face pressure is not aimed at her, but instead surrounds her. This is why emotional intensity grows. Not because the man is harsh, but because he shows control. He proves he can be firm when necessary and gentle when it matters. Kindness without strength feels empty. Strength without control feels unsafe. But strength with direction creates a pull that is hard to explain, and even harder to resist. Now let's understand why selectivity is more powerful than niceness. Being nice to everyone feels correct. It feels polite and socially approved. Many men believe that if they are kind, supportive, and respectful to all, attraction will naturally follow. But attraction does not work this way. When a man gives warmth, attention, and approval freely to everyone, his attention loses value. If everyone receives the same energy, no one feels special. His kindness becomes predictable and emotionally flat. Selective warmth works differently. When a man is calm, reserved, and careful about who gets close to him, people notice. When he does not chase approval, does not rush to impress, and does not open himself to everyone, his attention becomes valuable. This is not manipulation. This is not playing games. This is how value is naturally communicated. In every area of life, scarcity creates meaning. What is rare feels important. What is always available feels replaceable. Attention works the same way. A woman's attraction grows not because a man is distant, but because his focus is earned, not freely given. She senses that not everyone has access to him. She knows his time and energy are not handed out without thought. This creates a powerful feeling, being chosen. Standards are the foundation. A man who knows what he accepts and what he refuses sends a strong signal. He shows he is not desperate for connection. He chooses carefully. Niceness without boundaries feels weak. Niceness with standards feels strong. When a man can say no without guilt, walk away without drama, and protect his time without apology, his presence gains weight. His approval feels real because it costs him something to give it. This is why selective warmth creates attraction. It makes attention meaningful. It turns simple kindness into something valuable instead of something expected. Now let's talk about dominance, measured through other men. Attraction does not exist in isolation. A woman does not judge a man only by how he treats her. Without realizing it, she also observes how other men respond to him. Her mind quietly asks, do other men respect him? Do they hesitate before challenging him? Does the energy of the room shift when he enters? These signals matter more than words. True presence is felt, not announced. Men who try to prove dominance usually do not have it. Real dominance is assumed, not performed. When a man enters a space and others naturally adjust their behavior, lower their voices, pause before speaking, or become more attentive, something ancient is triggered. This reaction is not logical. It is ancient. For most of human history, a woman's safety depended on her partner's position among other men. A man at the bottom of the social order faced constant pressure and threat. A man near the top faced fewer challenges and had more control over outcomes. Because of this, the human brain evolved to closely monitor male hierarchy. A man who naturally reshapes social space sends a powerful message: I belong here. I am not easily replaced. He does not need to dominate conversations. He does not need to insult others. He does not need loud competition. His calm presence is enough. This is why leadership feels attractive, even outside romantic settings. A man who naturally takes responsibility, makes decisions, and stays steady under pressure stands out. Other men sense it first. Women feel it second. Dominance is not aggression, it is stability under challenge. A man who remains centered when tested, who does not rush to explain himself, and who does not seek permission to exist at the table, communicates strength without force. Sensitivity to hierarchy is very old. The brain understands it instantly. A man who is still climbing feels uncertain. A man who has already arrived feels safer. Attraction grows not because he demands status, but because others already treat him as if he has it. Their reaction speaks louder than anything he could ever say. Now let's explore when firmness becomes attractive. This is where attraction becomes more complex and revealing. Not all hardness pushes people away. In certain conditions, it increases attraction, but only under one rule. His firmness must work in her favor. Attraction grows when a man makes tough choices that protect her interests, when he removes obstacles from their shared goals, when he refuses to tolerate disrespect, when he sets boundaries and enforces them without hesitation. In these moments, his firmness feels reassuring, not threatening. What matters is not the action, but who benefits from it. When a man is firm with the world, but calm, fair, and steady with her, her mind registers safety. She feels protected. She feels chosen. She feels separate from the chaos. This emotional contrast is powerful. Softness given to everyone feels ordinary. Softness given selectively feels special. If a man does not try to please everyone, the care he gives carries weight. However, one boundary must never be crossed. The moment his firmness turns toward her through fear, intimidation, or emotional pressure, attraction collapses instantly. The mind does not debate, it switches categories. The protector becomes a threat. Power only attracts when it feels controlled. Strength only attracts when it is directed outward. Unfocused aggression feels unsafe. Limitless harshness feels dangerous. This is why self-control matters more than force. A man who can be firm but chooses restraint shows confidence. A man who cannot control his reactions shows weakness. Attraction is not about enjoying cruelty, it is about trusting strength. When a woman feels a man's toughness exists to protect what matters, not dominate what is close, her attraction deepens. When that trust breaks, the connection ends. Now let's understand emotional intensity. Desire does not grow from sameness, it grows from contrast. When emotions stay predictable, the mind relaxes. Comfort increases, but excitement fades. No tension, no anticipation, no emotional movement. The connection feels safe, but flat. Predictable affection creates calm. Uncertain affection creates desire. This happens because the brain responds to variation. Dopamine, the chemical of craving and wanting, increases when rewards are uncertain, not guaranteed. When warmth is not always available, each moment of closeness becomes valuable. Each sign of attention feels earned. This creates emotional tension, and tension fuels desire. A man who is sometimes distant and sometimes deeply present creates emotional movement. Distance creates longing. Closeness feels intense. This rhythm pulls attention again and again. This is not about being cruel or confusing, it is about not offering constant emotional access. A man who is always available, always reassuring, and always emotionally open creates no tension. Everything becomes known. Nothing feels at risk. Desire fades. But a man who has his own life, focus, and priorities naturally creates uncertainty. His attention cannot be assumed. When he chooses to give it, it feels meaningful. This is why emotional flatness repels and emotional contrast attracts. Stability feels safe. Intensity feels alive. This does not mean chaos is attractive. Constant drama exhausts the system. Attraction grows from controlled intensity, not emotional disorder. A man who balances presence with absence, warmth with focus, and connection with independence creates a rhythm that feels alive. Now let's be very clear about what this does not mean. This is not support for abuse. This is not permission to mistreat people. This is not encouragement for aggression. Uncontrolled force is not strength. It is weakness without discipline. A man who explodes emotionally, threatens, or uses fear is not powerful. He is unstable, and instability destroys attraction. True strength is emotional control under pressure. It is feeling anger and still choosing restraint. It is saying no calmly, walking away without drama, holding your ground without intimidation. A woman is not drawn to a man because he can harm. She is drawn because he could, but chooses not to. That difference defines strength. Now let's explore the alternative signals of power. You do not need harshness to show strength. Real power is shown through behavior. One of the strongest signals is the ability to say no without guilt. A man who can refuse calmly without explanation shows that his time and energy matter. Comfort with being disliked is another signal. A man who changes himself to gain approval gives away his power. A man who stays steady even when others disagree shows inner strength. Calm authority under pressure is another sign. When problems appear, some people panic. A man who stays focused and decisive naturally becomes the center of stability. Standards also matter. Many men speak about boundaries but do not enforce them. A man who actually walks away from disrespect and protects his values communicates seriousness. Leadership without asking permission is another powerful signal. This does not mean ignoring others. It means taking responsibility, setting direction, and owning outcomes. Now let's talk about polarity and leadership. Equality creates comfort. Polarity creates desire. Polarity does not mean control or superiority. It means difference in roles and energy. Desire grows through contrast, not sameness. When one person leads and the other can relax into response, emotional tension increases. A man who knows where he is going, makes decisions, and holds direction creates emotional safety. When direction is clear, stress fades. This allows surrender, and surrender creates desire. Leadership is calm, not loud. Hesitation weakens polarity, confidence strengthens it. This does not mean ignoring her voice, it means holding direction while respecting her presence. Certainty creates trust. Trust allows desire to flow. This is orientation, not domination. Now the final truth. Women are not drawn to cruelty itself. They are drawn to what cruelty appears to signal: protection, capability, status, selectivity, emotional intensity. Cruelty is just one way these signals appeared in history, not the best way. What truly attracts is effectiveness. A man who can handle pressure, a man who can decide, a man who can protect what matters, a man who knows his value. Kind intentions alone are not enough. Good morals alone are not enough. Evolution rewarded what worked. Once this is understood, confusion disappears. Kindness placed on top of strength becomes powerful. Strength without control becomes dangerous. But strength with restraint becomes magnetic. The real question is this: what kind of power will you choose? Uncontrolled power driven by fear and insecurity, or disciplined power guided by purpose and control? Because people feel how you move through the world. They sense how you handle pressure. They notice how you treat your time. They observe how you lead. They may never explain it, but they feel it. And that feeling guides attraction long before logic ever appears. This is the final reframe. Attraction is not about being good or bad. It is about being capable.